Is there life after death? If there is, what is it like? Is it divided between people playing harps and others screaming in eternal flames? Do people melt into a vast amorphous sea of bliss where their identity is lost? Do individuals lose their identity by reincarnating over and over again? Or is the so-called spirit world very similar to the landscapes of Earth, where people live for eternity with the identity that they established during their life on Earth? Will they be able to see their family members, relatives, and ancestors once again? My topic today is the beautiful gifts of the spirit world, Part 1, the gift of instantaneous travel. This presentation is the first of 7 videos. The 7 talks will cover the gift of instantaneous travel, near-death experiences of the gift of love, the gifts of identity, personality, and loving relationships, the gift of freedom to be oneself and the gift of time, the gift of freedom from tyranny, Part 1, the gift of freedom from tyranny, Part 2. The 7th video will include the gift of water, the gift of flowers, and the message of the gifts. One of my favorite topics of reflection and discussion is what happens to us after our physical bodies let out their last gasps and become fodder for worms and other crawly things. Opinions about life after death range from a black void to harps on clouds and everything else in between, with no proof of any of it. Scientific minds may poo-poo the whole idea of an afterlife, but the closer we get to our final breath, the more that some of us are interested in the so-called spirit world. Sources of information about the spirit world include accounts of near-death experiences, NDEs, out-of-body experiences, OBEs, and testimonies by spirit persons received by those on Earth. There is a large selection of books in these 3 genres that offer fascinating clues to what the spirit world may hold for all of us. I believe that the spirit world has a number of beautiful gifts for human beings that are profound reflections of God's love for each of us. My comments in this talk are not based upon my personal visits to the spirit world, because I have not yet had the good fortune to travel there in conscious out-of-body experiences that I remember, which is to say that I'm pretty sure that I've traveled there while I was sleeping. I just don't remember very clearly. Thus, in this series of talks, I'd like to explore a few of the gifts of the spirit world by delving into writings from a variety of authors, presented with my own commentary, based on logic, common sense, and intuitive beliefs. Belief in a plane of existence beyond the physical world is being bolstered by scientists and philosophers studying quantum physics. One author working to connect quantum physics to spirituality is Greg Braden. His book, The Divine Matrix, Bridging Time, Space, Materials, and Belief, contains a testimony about the out-of-body experiences of a Catholic nun in the 17th century. In Chapter 3, Are We Passive Observers or Powerful Creators? In the section titled Life Doesn't Always Follow the Rules of Physics, Braden wrote, between 1620 and 1631, Maria de Agreda, a nun who lived for 46 years in a convent in Agreda, Spain, reported more than 500 journeys across the ocean, away to a distant land. As far as those who knew her and lived with her were concerned, she never once left the convent. For Maria, however, she would fly to the faraway place she spoke of during what she called her experiences of ecstasy. She taught the indigenous people she encountered there about the life of Jesus, Although she spoke only her native Spanish, the Indians could understand her as she shared the teachings of the great master with them. The documentation of her sightings came when the Archbishop of Mexico, Don Francisco Manzo y Zuniga, heard about her experience. When he sent missionaries to investigate, they were amazed to find that the local Indians of the area were already well educated in the life of Jesus. So well, in fact, that they immediately baptized the entire tribe on the spot. Although anecdotal in nature, out-of-body testimonies illustrate that humans exist at levels that transcend their physical bodies. The fact that out-of-body travelers can appear to other physical humans, as well as travel to spiritual realms where physical bodies do not exist, seems to indicate that we all operate on a spiritual level, whether we notice it or not. The testimony of Sister Maria de Elgreda also speaks to one of the great gifts of the spirit world, that of extremely rapid and even instantaneous travel. The speed of travel and communication directly impacts relationships of love between people. The faster they can happen, the more frequently we can meet and speak with those whom we miss and long for, those whom we love. The gift of rapid travel has also been illustrated in the book Life in the World Unseen, transcribed by the medium Anthony Borgia, who is an old friend of the spirit author, Monsignor Robert Hugh Benson. Monsignor Benson was the son of a former Bishop of Canterbury and was born in 1871 and died in 1914. In Part 2, The World Unseen, in Section 4, Time and Space, Monsignor Benson describes instantaneous travel. I can stand before my house and I can bethink myself that I would like to visit the library in a city which I can see some miles away in a distance. No sooner has the thought passed with precision through my mind than I find myself, if I so desire it, standing before the very shelves that I wish to consult. I have made my spirit body, and that is the only body I have, travel through space with the rapidity of thought, and that is so rapid that it is equivalent to being instantaneous. And what have I done? I have covered the intervening space instantaneously, but the space still remains there with everything it contains, although I had no cognizance of time or the passage of time. When I have completed my visit to the library, I meet some friends upon the steps, and they suggest that we adjourn to the home of one of them. With this pleasant prospect in view, we decide to walk through the gardens and woods. The house is some distance away, but that does not matter because we never suffer from physical fatigue and we are not otherwise engaged. We walk along together talking happily, and after a certain lapse of time, we arrive at the house of our friend and we have covered the intervening space on foot. On the journey from my house to the library, I overcame the distance in between and I dispensed with time for the occasion. On the way back, I experienced an intuitive apprehension of time by walking slowly, and I restored a perception of distance to my mind by moving upon the solid ground and the grassy fields of this realm. This concludes part 1 of the 7 talks. The next video will be part 2, Near-Death Experiences of the Gift of Love. Thank you for watching. I invite you to subscribe, leave a comment, click on the like button, and share this video with 2 or more friends. You can follow me on Twitter at @FalkenBrown and email me at peterbrown@worldcommunity.com. I'm very grateful for all your support. I could not do it without you. So, until next time, love and blessings, and thank you.